The way this SRK 800 engine failed is quite bizarre. Everyone, feel free to analyze this with me. Anyway, the point is, failure for this machine was inevitable. Unless you only ride it perfectly upright and never lean into a corner, then it might never have broken down. Let's check the wear on the clutch plates. They look fine for normal use. Think back to when this SRK 800 was released at over 52,000 renminbi. Back then, it didn't even seem that expensive. But look at it now. Don't you think the value has dropped a lot? Alright experts, you can start analyzing now. Look at the oil pickup strainer. It actually fell off. And this engine has never been opened before. You can tell just by looking at it. So the question is, how exactly did this oil strainer fall off? I can't quite figure it out myself. Even though this machine looks like it's been through an accident, it still shouldn't have been enough to knock it loose. Once this strainer falls off, look at the oil intake port. It's effectively raised higher. When the bike is upright, it can still suck up oil. But as soon as the bike leans a bit, it becomes much harder to draw oil. When the strainer is in place, it can probably suck oil from this lower level. But with the strainer gone, it can only suck oil from this higher point. So when leaning, it misses the oil and starves. That's how it spun a bearing. At the end of the video, I'll reinstall it and demonstrate to everyone whether it can actually fall off normally. Then you guys can analyze who is really at fault here. There's severe oil seepage on the cylinder head. There are also marks of impact here. But my feeling is, even with an accident, it shouldn't knock the oil strainer off. I'll reinstall it at the end of the video and show you a demo. Look at these 4 dowel pins on the head. They all seem to be deformed. Take a close look, everyone. It looks like the cylinder head cover took a hit. Let me pull it out and show you. Isn't the deformation quite severe? Well, that explains the oil leak from the head. Just replace these 4 pins and this cylinder head gasket, and it'll be fine. The leakage issue is easy to solve. A normal pin should look like this. There are aluminum welding marks here, which proves there was indeed a previous accident. Speaking of this inline-4 engine, this SRK 800 is a bored-out version of the Honda 650 engine. The year before last, they used it for a 680 cubic centimeters. That's the engine in the SRK 600 RS. Recently, they released another SRK 600, which also uses the 680 cubic centimeters engine. Now, whenever people ask about SRK 600 issues, I have to ask, which SRK 600 are you talking about? I don't get why QJMotor is so obsessed with this specific name. Why not just call it SRK 650? It's very confusing for us. I bet owners are confused too. Owners of the old 600 and the new SRK 600 can't even talk about their bikes on the same page. The engines are completely different, right? As for the oil viscosity, 10W50 is recommended. Shell Advance is more than enough for it. Oil change with filter takes 2.9 liters. Everyone, make sure to use 50 weight oil. Seriously, when consulting on SRK 600 issues now, you must confirm if it's the old 600, the 600 RS, Or this latest SRK 600. Let's check the oil pan. The cylinder head has no wear, but there are metal shavings in the oil pan. That means it has spun a bearing. The culprit is that oil strainer. That's it, we usually call it the oil pickup screen. Besides providing initial filtration, it also serves to extend the oil intake point. And what's strange is, there are no installation marks on the strainer. It's supposed to have a sealing O-ring. Usually, an O-ring leaves some kind of mark. But look how shiny this is. It feels like an O-ring was never even seated. For example, on this other one, you can clearly see marks from the O-ring, even though it's made of soft material. And I still haven't seen that O-ring yet. I need to look for it. Since you've watched this far, please give the video a like. Now, let's split the crankcase. Let's check the crankshaft bearings first. The main bearings look like they can still get by. The copper isn't showing yet. These bearing shells are dato from Japan. Next, let's look at the connecting rod bearings. Let's check cylinder 4 first. Looks okay, no copper showing. Now cylinder 2. This one is also usable if we really had to. Cylinder 1 seems fine too, just with more noticeable marks. Aha! Found the O-ring for the strainer. It ended up here. Even so, I don't see any signs of compression, because when the strainer is installed, it should be held in place by the oil pan. Don't you find this strange? Right, I haven't checked cylinder 3's rod yet. This connecting rod is already scored. The rod for cylinder 2 is also scored. The bearing shell and the rod have welded together. In this state, the crankshaft is beyond saving. Take a look at the rod journal for cylinder 2. Luckily, QJMotor parts are cheap. This crankshaft has to be replaced. Polishing and oversized bearings won't last. Now let's check the pistons. Piston for cylinder 1 looks perfectly fine. The coating is still there. Cylinder 2's piston also looks okay. Let's check cylinder 3. The rod for cylinder 3 is toast. This rod must be replaced. The piston is actually alright, no issues with the piston. Cylinder 4 piston is also fine. Now for the assembly after cleaning. I mainly want to analyze the cause of failure. Put the strainer O-ring on. Then install the oil strainer. It's very easy to install, but if you bump it, it falls over. The oil pan has been cleaned too. Look at this. There are several small steps inside the oil pan. What are these steps for? They are meant to press against the oil strainer, to prevent it from shifting down or falling out. Normally, they should keep it secure. As you saw during assembly, it just slides right in. It relies mainly on the oil pan to hold it up. Okay, let's put the oil pan on. Now, look at the strainer. See? It's held firmly in place. Even if you tap it, it won't budge. And this engine hasn't been opened before. So, everyone, think about it. What exactly caused it to fall off? And as long as the bike is kept upright, it doesn't affect oil suction. Furthermore, the top part of the strainer is inserted deep inside. So no matter how big the accident is, it shouldn't just fall down. What could the reason be? You guys can analyze it yourselves. Anyway, I think QJMotor's move to build smart factories is something they definitely needed to do.